What's up, YouTube? It's Cholula's Comics, and I'm bringing you night 12 of my 13 Nights of Halloween special. Tonight, like every other night that I tell you guys, I'm doing something a little bit different. Tonight, I'm going to be celebrating Dia de los Muertos, or Day of the Dead. Traditionally, Dia de los Muertos is celebrated November 2nd, going into November 3rd, but I'm doing things a little bit early just so I can get this video in and share a little bit of my culture and my traditions with you guys. I'll be showing some books in just a little while, but just wanted to go over a little bit of the customs and what goes into celebrating Day of the Dead. So if you don't want to see this part of it, I'll go ahead and put a timestamp when I start showing the books a little bit later on. But yeah, man, here it goes. So what happens on Day of the Dead is generally we celebrate by making an altar to remember your loved ones, and you decorate the altar with a lot of sacred items, items that belong to your loved one, items that have deep meaning, or they just have they carry a memory for you. So a lot of times with things that you'll see would be pictures. So here I have a picture of my grandfather, and he's somebody that I lost. Ooh, I'd say about 7, 8 years ago now, due to a pan can, and over there in that right hand corner, I have a picture of my best friend who I lost maybe 3 or 4 years ago now, due to a violent incident that happened. So he was really young when he passed, and it was something that was hard for all of us. So being able to do this, it just kind of brings back good memories, and it's a way to feel close to the people that you've lost. Um, some of the other things that are traditionally seen in the altars that we resurrect for our loved ones, obviously, like I said, are the pictures. Next would be the flowers. Since I don't have any live flowers with me, I'm kind of cheating here a little bit. Um, and this kind of goes with the theme. I've shown this before. This is a painting that my wife did for me of Wolverine and Day of the Dead style. And since it has flowers and it fits the theme, I thought it went well with the altar. Um, that one I've shown before. I haven't shown this one. This is a new painting that she's done pretty recently, and this is her rendition of Wonder Woman in Day of the Dead style. And it's got the flowers there on the right hand side. And here on the scroll, she wrote Wonder Woman's name in Spanish, which is Mujer Maravilla. All right. Next, I just want to get a chance to show my buddy here. This is one of the last times we got to go to a Niner game. That was our thing. We always would go to Niner games. This is the whole crew right here, and this is my buddy Saul that we lost. Next, another thing that we do is we decorate with food. Usually, if this was a big enough altar, you would make the dish, whatever traditional dish that was your loved one's favorite. But another thing that we always do, this is a traditional thing, this is called Pan de los Muertos, which just means bread of the dead. And this is just a traditional thing that we decorate the altar with. Not decorate. It's not really a decoration. We call it an ofrenda, or an offering. Um, what else do we do? We do candles. So I have two candles here. One with Saint Michael on it. Another one with Pancho Villa. And what you do is you light those, and it's supposed to show your loved one the light and the path to come back to you for that day. Another thing that we put that's always traditional is you put water, which is supposed to be part of the offering for the loved one. So it's calming, it's soothing, and it's cleansing. Um, we also offer drinks in the form of spirits, which I have here a bottle of Hennessy. And actually, that bottle of Hennessy is really special to me in that that's one of the last times me and my buddy Saul got to hang out, and that's the same bottle, and I haven't been able to bring myself to finish that bottle. But it's kind of cool in that that was something he and I used to drink together, and it was also the drink of choice of my grandfather. Um, so it works for both of them. That's why it's right there up in the middle. We also decorate with religious themes. So I got my rosary here in the middle, and of course the theme is skulls. And usually you would have sugar skulls decorating the altar. I don't have any sugar skulls. We have these little statues, I guess, or these little. They're kind of neat little boxes that we bought. They're supposed to be like jewelry boxes, but they're painted just like the sugar skulls. And the meaning behind the sugar skulls is actually they're sweet and they're candy, and they're made to be eaten, obviously, and they're in the shape of skulls. It's to remind us of our own mortality, but at the same time, since we're biting them, eating them, and enjoying them, it's supposed to lighten the mood and supposed to like help you come to terms with it and make it not such a serious thing, because we believe that it's not just the beginning, or it's not the end of something, it's the beginning of something else. And so I have a lot of little figurines here. Salt is another thing that's used to decorate the altar as a purification thing. And finally, one of the last things I want to show before I get onto these books is this book here. It's called Stories from Mexico, and on the bottom it says Historias de Mexico. And this is a really cool book in that it's a lot of the old stories. It's a lot of legend, and the stories are told simple enough for a child to understand them. It's a children's book, and it's written in English and in Spanish side by side. So a lot of times what I'll do at night is I actually read these to my kids, and it's a lot of the same stories that my grandpa told me growing up. But he didn't have to read them. He knew them. He knew them by heart. He knew them off the top of his head. And whenever I read these to my kids, I remember nights being up with him and him sharing these stories with me. So this is something that's really important to me, um, and it's really cool to have. Oh, you know what? Actually, there's one more thing I did want to show. This here. Oh, this thing is heavy. This is a brick that me and my buddy had made for our friend Saul who passed away. And we actually got this put in the new Levi Stadium, the home of the Niners. So this is part of the Levi Stadium fan walk now. So if any of you guys ever get a chance to go out to Levi Stadium, I know we ain't doing too great, but it don't matter. Me and Saul always used to say we're gonna bleed red. We will bleed red and gold till we're dead and cold. So we thought it was really cool to be able to get this together and have this put in the new stadium, so we feel like he's always there, even though we go to games and he's not with us anymore. He's still with us. And they gave us one each to kind of keep in our home as commemoration. So that's something that we hold dear to us. Okay, all of that stuff out of the way. Thanks for sticking with me through that part of it, guys. I'm gonna show you guys some books that are Day of the Dead themed, Halloween themed, and Day of the Dead themed. First up, I got X-Men number 7, showcasing the new Lady Deathstrike. And I forgot her new name, but she's a Colombian chick and paints her face with a calavera or a skull, just like the Mexican style Day of the Dead. Beautiful Terry Dodson art, by the way. Love this cover. Next, X-Men number 9, showing the Lady Deathstrike right there in the back. And X-Men number 11, with Lady Deathstrike in the back there as well. You know what? And before I go on, my daughter's gonna kill me if I don't do this. If you guys see this little Mexican flag there, my daughter made that for me on my birthday this year. She hung it up and said, "Hey, I made this for you, Dad, because I know that you're proud of being Mexican, and so am I." And man, I thought that was really cool, and it kind of, not gonna lie, brought a little tear to my eye. So thank you, Elisa, for making me my flag that I still haven't taken down. Next, I got Robbie Reyes, Ghost Rider number 1. And this is actually number 1, the Marvel Now version. That is not his first appearance, but I believe this one is. This is Ghost Rider number 1. Number 2. I'm missing a couple in the series. Number 3. Number 4. Number 5. Number 6. And I don't have 7, but there is number 8. So that's it for my Ghost Rider books. Next was another cool book that I picked up. Artist is Brian Pulido off of Lady Mechanica. This is La Dama de la Muerte, or The Lady of Death. And I think he has This is number one, but he has a few different versions of number one, different copies of number one. Man, we got a bunch of glare going on there. There we go. That's better. All right. Um, he has a bunch of different versions of number one, copies of number one, and he has. It's not an ongoing issue, but I think he does like almost trades of them for each story arc. Me and my wife got to meet him at Silicon Valley Comic Con, and he was selling his books there. He had some really cool covers with them. Should have picked some of those up, but anyway. Next, I have four comics that are actually Mexican editions. These are DC Comics. This is Earth 2, and this is DC Comics Earth 2 number 8. It's a variant, and they call it the Calaveritas, which means like calavera means skull, but anytime you hear itas at the end of any word, it's diminutive. It just means like small, so it's like little skulls or baby skulls or something like that. Not baby skulls in like a creepy, scary way, but little skulls. You guys can see there, it is actually was the book that was printed in Mexico. It's 35 pesos, and it says, instead of variant, it says variante, which is Spanish for variant. So I thought these were really cool when I picked them up. I don't know too much else about them. I haven't even opened them up since I've gotten them. That's Earth 2. I have Batman Eternal number 33 with Robin on the cover. Nice black cover. Got a couple dings here and there, but you know, I've never seen these books in a while. I actually won these on a Facebook auction. So if you guys have ever seen them or know anything else about them, feel free to let me know, because the boy does not know nothing about these other than I have them. Batman, DC Comics number 39. So we have Batman there with his Calavera style going on. And finally, Justice League number 38. And we get to see the whole crew in the Calavera style. Superman, Green Lantern, Batman, Aquaman, Wonder Woman, and the Flash. Alright. And last but not least, you guys, this is a series that I'm really excited about. I actually just read it I actually just finished reading it again today. Pablo's Inferno. Pablo's Inferno is a book, it's a series of 5 books published by Abysmal Comics, but more importantly, written and art by Rody Montijo. Rody Montijo is actually from my native Stockton, California, and this story is actually about a young boy named Pablo who is sent out on a mission by his mother to run an errand, and in doing so, here's number 2, and in doing so, as soon as he steps outside, he gets killed. He gets hit by a car. And the story is basically about, this is number 3, is about him and his trip. It's his trip through hell. And he meets a bunch of ghosts and goblins and demons and Aztec gods and witches that are there to help him and hinder him along the way. Here's number 4. That's him versus the witch in this story. I'm going to pull these before they fall. And here is the final edition, number 5. Now, this storyline is actually one that I wanted to do a review on and show you the interiors on, but I couldn't find any scans online, and it would take me too damn long to go ahead and try to scan it myself. So I wasn't able to do that. Hopefully, I'm able to do that for you guys by next year, because I can't even begin to describe how good the story is, how good the art is, and just the little intricacies that Rody writes into the storyline. I mean, I'll show you this. He signed all of the books there, and as you can see right there, he even did like a little flaming skull. So he did like a little remark with the upside down cross, just symbolizing the different stuff that actually takes place and happens in the books. That's something I really want to do. So if you guys are interested or want to know more, feel free to hit me up about this story. But it's actually a book that it was published in 2000. I didn't find out about it until 2002, and I don't think I got my copies until 2005. And when I met Rody I think I met him at Big Wow in San Francisco, and he had all the books there with him. I didn't expect to see him there. I didn't know he was going to be there. It was one of my first few cons that I'd ever been to. So running into him, I think I was a little bit, I was in shock, and I was kind of a fanboy, and I was like, oh my God, dude, I've been looking for you forever. And he was like, what? And I was like, man, I've been looking for these books forever. Where you been? And he was like, I've been here, man. And I was like, yo, I'm from Stockton. He was like, oh, you from Stockton? And so that kind of piqued his interest. And he was like, man, you can just have the books for free. Don't even worry about it. I think he was pumped to see that somebody was that excited about his books, that was that excited about his artwork and his work in general. And you know what? The books did not disappoint. I really wish I could show you guys more of the interiors in this video, but this one's gone long, gone on long enough. Um, Anyways, you guys, this has been Cholula's Comics. I hope you enjoyed the books I showed. I hope some of you stuck around and enjoy, a little bit about my culture and my traditions and where my family comes from. Um, it's kind of fun to share that and pass those traditions on to my kids and hopefully to some of you who are listening. If you guys have any questions about anything, like I said, always feel free to hit me up. Enjoy going back and forth with you guys. And until next time, this is Cholula's Comics saying, until I see you next time, keep stacking hella comics.